Welcome back to episode 20 of The Fade. Wow, knocked down 20 episodes already. It's been a ride, huh, Steve?
Yeah, it has, dude. I was just thinking that earlier when I was making the chat room. I can't believe it's already been 20 weeks.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's been
Crazy.
it went quick, dude. And there's been episodes that we've done more episodes. I'd say probably over 100 combined with us, baseline, ringside,
Yeah, we're getting pretty
Philadelphia,
close for sure.
and then a few special episodes and the David Pindell interview. So it's been consistent and been a good ride so far, and hopefully we can get 20 more banged out and keep it going.
Yeah, man. We're probably pushing at least 60
Yeah,
in
definitely.
episodes altogether. So,
We're gonna get right into it with the 50-year option pickups. We're just gonna give you a little bit of our surprises. I was my non-surprise was, and most people are like, "Wow, I can't believe it." I'm not surprised that Washington did not pick Chase Young's contract up. I
me
mean,
neither.
he won Defensive Rookie of the Year. He was an absolute stud, 9.5 sacks his Defensive Rookie of the Year campaign season. He started off when he versed Philly, 1.5 sacks. So everyone was like, "Damn, this kid is gonna be
Hmm.
a problem." Um, in the last in the last 3 years, he's played 27 games, and I think in the last 2 years it was 8 games. This guy is injury prone, but when he is on the field, he's a force to be reckoned with.
Hmm.
But I mean, dude, that just shows it's going to show his career on a downward spiral. I can see them dealing him and trading him in the offseason, this offseason, and or in training camp. I wouldn't be surprised to see that. How about you, Steve?
Yeah, same, man. And I definitely think this is a money issue with him because, like you said, he's super injury prone. And it's not worth paying a guy like that in the long run. You know what I mean? A guy that's only going to play 6 games a season max. It's not worth paying a big contract because Chase Young's going to want that money. He was a huge prospect, and like you said, he's a force to be reckoned with when he's on the field. But in my opinion, I think it's smart to not pick up that fifth-year option on Young. It might be surprising to some people, but I think he's super injury prone, and it's not worth paying a guy like that.
Yeah, they would have had to pay him 17.5 mil. I don't like you said, a guy who's
It's
going
a
to
lot
play.
for him.
Yeah, you know what I mean, and that's what like these DNs are getting in the 2023 range now. What TJ Watt and stuff. With a guy like Chase Young, yeah, he's a dominant force, but dude, how much are you going to have him on the field? And that's the issue. There is he was a problem, and that's the thing. He's not a problem anymore. He played. I know he was coming off the ACL injury, and he played the final like 3 games when they were making that final playoff push. Again, dude, when he was on, he did not look good at all. He looks like he lost a step. Off of Chase Young, though, I mean, I'm glad he's out of the NFC East if he is healthy. But off Chase Young, I know your boy, you weren't surprised by this with no means. Joe Shiesty.
Second best QB in the league, hands down.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with Herbert too, man. Like Herbert, you can tell that that's their guy long term. I mean, he's setting passing records for them. I mean, he's throwing for 4,000 yards a season, and he's doing it very quick too. So that's your kid. I mean, that's your guy in the long term. You know what I mean? He's going to be there for a long time, if not his entire career. I think Justin Herbert. He's an absolute monster. If Joe Burrow wasn't in that draft class, he would have went number one 100%. It's just Shiesty. You know what I mean? You got to take him, dude. Shiesty's another force to be reckoned with, man. I think you can make a case that he is the best quarterback in the league, but I don't think he is. I think Mahomes is just on another level than anybody else, but Burrow's definitely up there, and I definitely think he's going to be another one that's an MVP candidate this year because he's making it to championships every year, man. He made it to a Super Bowl already. He's doing so much for the Bengals, man. He's another one that's going to be there long term, if not his entire career.
Yeah, I really do. Obviously, Herbert and Burrow were definitely no brainers. They're your quarterback for the future of the teams. Burrow is going to, in my eyes, definitely become the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. I mean,
100%.
seeing Lamar get paid this, don't get me wrong, Lamar's electric on the field. But I mean, dude, the money he's making to not really get you out of the first round of the playoffs and to abandon your team, and just the negotiation process, he became really stubborn throughout it. I didn't like the signing, but again, when you know you have your guy there and he fits your system, you're gonna want Lamar, and now you got him, his guys. With Burrow, dude, turning the organization around when Cincy was in the dumps for so long. I mean, when they had Carson Palmer, Andy Dalton, they weren't winning playoff games. You know, they were maybe inching into the wild card, but they weren't getting the playoff wins. They got Burrow with the first overall pick, and his rookie season, he was on fire, man. And then he ended up tearing his ACL, and everyone was like, "Wow, you know, this is going to be a big hump to get over. Is he going to ever come back the same?" Because a lot of quarterbacks don't when they tear their ACL, and he came back and tore it up.
Came back better.
Yeah, and you have him to where the AFC is stacked. You want your quarterback, and you have, I mean, Jamar Chase is going to get paid. I don't know what they're going to do with T. Higgins. I would assume he's either going to walk in free agency because they're going to need the money for Burrow, and you need the money to surround him with linemen. And I mean, then you have Tyler Boyd to where you can just start paying him lower money. But Chase is
So
definitely,
productive.
yeah, Chase definitely though needs to get paid, you know,
100%.
and Burrow is now surpassed. Like they're like, oh well, who's the two top guys in the AFC? And it was always Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, you know. And now I think, without being stated, it is now Mahomes, and arguably Mahomes or Burrow as that number 1 and 2 guy. You know, it could go either way. I think Burrow could have easily, you know, made it to the Super Bowl. It's just he's going to have to take those lumps.
The AFC is so hard, man. With all the talent, it's so much better than the NFC. It really is so much better. Like all the talent that's in the AFC, it's so much harder to make a Super Bowl than it is like for the Eagles, honestly.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, when, you know, arguably Jalen Hurts now is the top quarterback in the NFC, I don't know who else you'd put with him. I'd say, you know, honorable mention, maybe Dak, but I mean, Dak's not really living up to, and that's not me being a biased Eagles fan. It's just, you know, Dak
Just
isn't really
thinking of a quarterback that you could put on his level.
Yeah, and I mean, Dak's been in the league. He's paid already. He's been in there. He got drafted the same year as Carson Wentz, and he's not really leading them to success. He led the league in interceptions last season, although, like Dylan would say, is most of them weren't his fault. But at the same time, still not getting the job done. Where, you know, Hurts, this was his second season as a legitimate starter. You know what I mean? His first season, he came off the bench,
made playoffs.
after like week 9. You know, so this is his second season actually legitimately starting, and the progression was there. And it's to where we like to talk about how this league is a quarterback run now league. Like you want a dual threat running quarterback, and Hurts also shown he can sling the ball, you know, and
absolutely.
it's just, and I love it because Howie knows how to do these things. We talk about Howie all the time. I don't know how he ended up getting this contract to where it's so flexible for the team, but I mean, I'm loving it. With Herbert, obviously that's a no-brainer. This guy, you know, they're saying Keenan Allen's on his back leg. They just picked him up, Quentin Johnston. Huge pickup. Mike Williams, it seems like he can't stay healthy, but with Herbert not having these guys fully healthy, that's on paper every offseason they look like they're a team to beat. But then, you know, they're not just staying healthy. Rashawn Slater, their left tackle, he was out the whole season last year. It needs to be done to where, you know, you need these guys healthy. I wish they'd pay Austin Eckler. That's a top 2-3 running back in the league. Definitely.
I think he's going to end up getting traded, man.
Yeah.
For sure.
They're not showing his worth. Like they're not giving him what he deserves.
They don't. Led the league in touchdowns, man, last year.
Yeah.
Not the season past the year before.
Top fantasy guy, dude. This guy's having 100 receptions as a running back.
That's insane.
Yeah. It's ridiculous that they don't go and pay this guy.
Yeah, I think that's ridiculous, dude. But then again, they do. I think it's just about making money for Justin Herbert because you never know. Justin Herbert could also be another one that could be the highest paid quarterback in NFL history. It's going to be one of them. It's going to be Burrow or it's going to be Herbert. Honestly, it is. And I think they're just worried about making room for their guy as of now because you never, like how we talk about running backs burning out when they get into their high 20s. Eckler's going to start getting to that age soon where he's going to start burning out, and it might not be wise to extend him to a 4-year extension, big money like he wants. You know what I mean? When you're trying to make room for your quarterback, that's, like I said, arguably going to be the highest paid quarterback of all time very soon. So I think it's just they have weapons all over, man. And I think this is how Philly's going to end up in a couple years when all of our guys' contracts start running out. It's just going to be who is going to pay and who is not her. I don't even know how I should word it.
Who's Philly willing to pay?
Yeah,
Like, who do Philly look at as long-term assets?
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
And it's like, say, like Devontae, like how we were talking about T. Higgins. That's going to be Devontae Smith in a couple years, man. And it's sad to say, but I don't think Philly's going to end up paying Smith because now we have all these guys that we're going to have to start making room for. We got to make money to pay some of these big weapons. Like we talked about Carter last week. He just got a fully guaranteed contract, but in a couple years coming, man, if he lives up to par, he's going to want that big money.
Like, you know, how Dexter Lawrence and stuff. Like,
yeah, like
Dexter all the time, bro. With the NFL, it's the pay keeps going up as the NFL keeps growing revenue. The money keeps going up for these guys. Like Dexter Lawrence just became the third highest paid D tackle, making 23.5. You know, with guys like, and I think they're gonna go and choose ultimately Carter over paying Jordan Davis in the long run. With going back then to Eckler and the Chargers, it's also coming down to where you got these guys on defense, Derwin James, you know, J.C. I think it's J.C. Jackson, and then you have Asante Samuel Jr. You got these guys, dude, all over that. They're gonna need to be paid. Joey Bosa, you know, like these guys.
They were lucky to get the Derwin James contract done when they did.
Yeah, because he would have asked for a hell of a lot more
Way
money.
More.
Seeing what these safeties are making now.
And he's arguably the best in the league.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
If not, I don't even think you could argue that anybody's better as of right now. I think it just is Derwin James, to be honest.
I like your take, though, with Eckler, how, you know, that is a smart thing to where, you know, like even Dylan said this before, is these running backs do start burning out. And you can find quality. That's the thing, is quality running backs in your later rounds of the draft, and quality running backs. Like, look at Jerick McKinnon with the Chiefs now.
Yeah.
Everyone thought he was done for, you know, he got paid after he left Minnesota, was paid in San Fran, and just always was injury prone. The Chiefs took a chance on him, and now look, they don't even got to pay these guys. Like, I wasn't surprised when they turned down Clyde Edwards-Helaire's option, because they don't need 3 running backs. You know, they have that Pacheco kid. He's going to be there for a couple years.
What has Edwards-Helaire done?
Yeah.
Honestly, he was arguably the best. He was supposed to be the best running back in his draft class coming out of LSU, and he didn't live up to par at all. He had a decent rookie season. That's it.
They only would have had to pay him $5.5 million. But that's the thing is the Chiefs are also looking for other weapons. Like, they know that they need weapons for Mahomes. Mahomes' contract benefits them too. It's 10 years down the line. You know, Kelsey, I don't know when his contract's up. I would say probably within the next year or two, and he's going to keep becoming the highest paid. Every year, it's going to be Kelsey is the highest paid. You know, and I mean, you need these guys on defense. You know, you got to start paying the rookies like Trent McDuffie when it comes up. All these guys are going to need money, and yeah, running backs do slowly burn out. What I'm nervous about is I enjoy how Howie Roseman makes these trades for guys that are on their final years of their contract, but it doesn't really pan out the following year, you know, because these guys really do come into Philly, man, and tear it up. And then it's like, wow, you know, we didn't expect that. Are they going to go and pursue money elsewhere? You know, Swift hasn't really been the healthiest of guys. But it was also because before Jamal Williams came on, is Swift was kind of the only guy there getting touches. And then
first 2 years, he was taking all the touches.
Yeah. He was a top fantasy back, back in the league as well. And I mean, it's going to be a little, what I'm curious about is with Philly is how are you going to use him here? Is because you have Penny, and people are saying right now that Penny's the best running back on our roster, even with Swift there.
I don't think so. I'm very high on Swift.
Yeah. So am I. But I think though with Philly is I think they're gonna take to consideration what happened with Miles Sanders. And they're like, oh, if we just used Miles Sanders how we used to and did the 3 running back system, he wouldn't have went and asked for this much money.
Yeah.
I can see them doing this, going back to the 3 running back system with Swift and really seeing that, and have him get signed before they are like, all right, now we'll use you as the main guy. And that's what I'd hoped for too.
I mean, I definitely would hope for that for sure. I would love that. But I think how it's going to turn out is Swift's going to be not the every down back, but he's going to get most of the carries. And then Rashad Penny's going to be the goal line back, and he's going to be the third down back too because he's a power back. You know what I mean?
Short yardage.
Swift's only 24. I like the pickup, like you said, but I also don't like it because he's on his last year of his contract. But he could end up taking less money to stick around than Philly did because he's from Philly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He might want to end up sticking around, being near his family and shit. So I hope he does go off. You know what I mean? Because then if he takes a team-friendly deal, it would be so great to have a great running back behind Jalen Hurts and this O-line that we have right now for the next coming years until Jason Kelce retires at least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that. I like that take too, because you want him to ball out, bro. You know what I mean? Even if he balls out for a year, I'd much rather have the best team that you can go in, that Sirianni can throw whoever in there and make sure we're the best team. And dude, he ain't hesitant to pull these trades. Like we're saying about me and you are talking about now, Patrick Queen. It surprised me a little bit that they didn't pick him up because, he hasn't missed a game in his 3 years. He has 321 tackles in the past 3 seasons. He had 5 as a middle linebacker to have 5 sacks last season is insane, and 2 picks as well. But then they just made Roquan Smith the highest paid linebacker. So you're not going to pay 2 middle linebackers.
Yeah.
But I was very surprised they didn't even pick up his option to keep him around next season as well. But it's, again, dude, Lamar, you kind of screwed them over with doing this deal. And, I mean, because now you can't pay both sides of the ball.
I definitely agree with you there, and I had that written down too. I think it's definitely a money issue that they didn't pick up Patrick Queen for his 5th-year option because they just made Lamar the highest paid quarterback ever. You know what I mean? You also just paid OBJ $18 million for a year. You don't know what he's going to do. He's coming off an injury too. Mm-hmm. So it's like you don't have this money to toss around. Like you said too, they made Roquan the highest paid linebacker. You're not going to pay 2 middle linebackers. You know what I mean? You have to cut ties with somebody here. It's going to have to be one of your stars. Why not be Patrick Queen when you have Roquan?
Yeah.
I mean, it's sad to say because Patrick Queen really is good, and I hope Philly ends up taking him. I really do because I like him, and we need a good. I mean, we have. I think Nakobe Dean's going to end up stepping up.
That's why I feel bad for Nakobe too, bro. Like,
yeah.
It's like he's supposed to get his chance, and then he's hearing these trade rumors.
But it's almost like there's always somebody better. You know what I mean? That can step in. Like it just seems like there's always somebody on the market that you could pick up for kind of cheap that can be better than Nakobe Dean, because he really screwed his shoulder up, man. That's why he fell so low in the draft. But I really like Nakobe Dean, and I've always been super high on him. I hope he does get his chance in Philly, but it would be nice to have somebody like Patrick Queen to pass some knowledge off to him because he's obviously been successful in the NFL.
Yeah, and we lost Kazir White, and I think we lost TJ Edwards to Chicago. So, I mean, dude, they used both Edwards and Kazir White.
I honestly didn't like Kazir White, though, man.
He was good. He was a good pass coverage. That's why they picked him up anyways, because they knew with Philly, that was sucked with us, is we always got eaten alive by tight ends. Even
that's
back
why we need a good middle linebacker.
Even back in the day when Washington had Jordan Reed wasn't really that good of a – I mean, he was, but he wasn't like a great – but against Philly, he always tore it up. Yeah, and I mean, Witten, dude, Dalton Schultz, he always tore it up against us. You know, it's just we need – like Patrick Queen's another guy, dude, who can play both sides of the field. He's fast, bro. He's and consistent, dude. He hasn't missed a game in his 3 seasons. I wouldn't go as far to say as Philly doesn't make a trade. You know, if they're really trying to get them off their Baltimore's trying to get them off their hands, I mean, Philly loves that to where even then they can go and franchise tag him. I'd like to see Nakobe Dean. Another guy, dude, that I would keep in the back of like I would love to have in Philly, and this is crazy that I was so surprised they didn't pick him up because I really think now, dude, that Arizona's tanking is Isaiah Simmons. He's another guy, dude, hasn't missed a game, 258 tackles in 3 years. Last he had 7.5 sacks and 4 picks in 3 years. This guy's a hybrid. He was drafted out of college as a safety, and they moved him to linebacker because they had Buda Baker. I'm wondering too what's going to happen with Buda Baker here.
I know.
But Isaiah Simmons, he's another guy that Arizona's trying to get draft capital next season. Don't be surprised if they go and get rid of Buda Baker and Isaiah Simmons. And also, I mean, now we know D Hop, he's returning to Arizona. It didn't work out. No teams really wanted him for their asking price. I wouldn't be surprised too right there if Arizona goes and lets D Hop off for anywhere from a 5th to a 7th round just to get him off their hands and get draft capital.
You know who I wouldn't be surprised if gets picked up by Philly, and I think this is honestly my most surprising that didn't get picked up on their 5th-year option defensively. Jordan Brooks, man, had 103.
Seattle.
Dude, Jordan Brooks had 103 solo tackles. He was tied for 3rd in the league. He didn't really do much else, but he had a ton of tackles, man. Why not pick his 5th-year option up? You know what I mean? He's not going to be a ton of money.
Yeah.
I was so surprised when I see that they didn't pick up Jordan Brooks' 5th-year option. And I hope Philly trades for him because he's a tackle machine.
Yeah.
And behind that D line, man, he will eat people alive in Philly.
Yeah, I'm wondering what happened because I mean, dude, he's a top 10 linebacker in the league, and like you said, he had 103 solo tackles. And dude, Seattle needs help on defense. You know what I mean? That's another thing is, I mean, they loaded up with getting corners and stuff with Devin Witherspoon. But I mean, I would say, dude, Jordan Brooks, this is again, dude, declining these options has to be about the money. DK getting paid. Or he got paid, right?
Yeah, he got extended.
Yeah, DK got paid, and then I mean, Geno just got his extension. I think again with these, I mean, I wouldn't have extended Geno necessarily for 3 years.
No,
but I mean, then you had to get him. You had to though. That's the thing is you had to because he's been in the system. He had a great season last year. I mean, I like how they picked up Smith-Njigba. They're getting him weapons. But yeah, the Jordan Brooks thing, yeah, it really did surprise me too because he's a great defensive player, and that's what Seattle needs is defensive guys. You have your D-backs now, and you have Quandre Diggs back there too, and I don't know what their problem is. I think get rid of Jamal Adams.
You know what, dude? You know why? I didn't think of this actually. I forgot this happened. I didn't mean to cut you off. You know why they probably didn't pick his 5th year up? Because Bobby Wagner's back in Seattle.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
that's why.
Yeah, it definitely is actually. Yeah, that's a good take on that. But I mean, how long does Bobby Wagner really have?
Yeah, exactly. I think they only got that. I'm pretty sure they only have him for 1 year. So why not pick up Jordan's 5th-year option?
Yeah, it was. I think it was a cheap deal too. I think it was only. I don't even think it exceeded 10 mil.
Yeah, he just wanted to come home.
Yeah, and I think this is his. I think he's gonna end up retiring after this season, or he's gonna keep doing. I mean, dude, Bobby Wagner still can play.
Absolutely,
this guy can still
100%.
And you don't see really with linebackers the longevity. You see linebackers, bro. People give up on linebackers after a couple years. I mean, when's the last time you seen a linebacker go this long besides like Ray Lewis and stuff? So
and,
I mean,
I think you mainly call when you talk about field generals. I think you mainly talk about quarterbacks. When you talk about those type of guys, but on the defensive side of the ball, Bobby Wagner is a field general. Yeah, 100%. He is one of the most intelligent linebackers ever, and I say this all the time with Luke Kuechly. Also him too. When you talk about field generals on defense, those are my top 2 that I will always bring up at linebackers, Bobby Wagner and Luke Kuechly. Some of the most intelligent linebackers ever, man.
When you think of field generals on the defensive side, that's really who you think of is a guy that knows a play. Like Luke Kuechly was gifted, dude. There was arguably he would have. He's smart for what he did, knowing the concussions and stuff and the toll it takes on you. But I mean, dude, how people were like, yo, when I'm calling these audibles and stuff, or when we're coming out in these formations, Luke Kuechly was knowing where we're running the ball, what play we're running. And I mean, that's just sad. With Bobby Wagner, though, again, yeah, when you think of field general, I mean, when have you really heard of Bobby Wagner really getting hurt and missing a
Mm-hmm.
season? I think
Or
he did
having a
play.
shitty play, even. You know what I mean?
And
Like,
tell me this too is when, and that's a guy who's a team player, is when the Rams sucked last season and they were tanking and there was nothing going for them, all their guys are missing. Bobby Wagner still went out there to play.
yeah,
You know, and he has my respect. I mean, it's a good scenario. He left her for one season, went to a division rival. Bring him home. You know what I mean? And that's a guy who's known in Seattle. People are so happy that he's back. He's a good veteran. But it does surprise me. Why not pick up Jordan Brooks and have him then again line up with Bobby Wagner? But I think, oh, dude, you know what it is? Now they picked up Devin Bush from
oh my
Pittsburgh.
god, that's right.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
forgot about that. They picked
so
up
did I.
Devin Bush too. But Devin Bush hasn't really been healthy, and he hasn't played up to par. But I mean, I guess, and Devin Bush, when healthy, is a really good linebacker.
I think I would take Jordan Brooks' 5th-year option over him too.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
like you said, hasn't been the healthiest.
But I
Like
think
honestly.
they look at Bush and they're like, oh, we can keep this guy and get him cheaper than Brooks. Like
Yeah,
Brooks probably would have ended up having to get anywhere from like a 17 to 20 some $1 million contract at middle linebacker, and I don't think they're willing to pay that much money. And I think in the back of their head too, they're like, and another person who, what I said is screwing them over with cap is both Quandre Diggs and Jamal Adams are both the highest paid, or top like 7 to 10 highest paid safeties in the league, and Jamal Adams isn't healthy.
I
You
can't
know?
stand Jamal Adams anymore.
Yeah,
Dude.
me
I used
neither.
to be so high on Jamal Adams when he was a
Yeah.
Jet. And now it's just like that dude talks so much shit and doesn't do anything in games anymore. And is always hurt. It just blows my mind, man, how much he's changed. And Brandon Pupo is one that will always defend Jamal Adams and say how good he is, that he's the best
Yeah.
safety in the league. He's
I
not.
think he's a hybrid. Like what I think about him is you throw him, and that's another reason why they're probably not going to pay Brooks, is because of the money situation with Jamal and Quandre. Quandre Diggs is a great safety too. You know what I mean? They're smart for locking him down because he is a really good safety. I like Quandre Diggs, very high on him. But Jamal Adams, again, I think they're not picking up Jordan Brooks because they know with Jamal Adams, eventually he'll probably still keep re-signing with Seattle. The money's going to drop because health concerns and stuff. But he plays more though, dude, in the box. He's not really the safety that plays up top anymore. You know what I mean? So
No,
why pay,
I
why pay
think
him
he's
when he
so
plays
good.
down? He's
Like
good.
he is good. Like when he's on the field, it's just like how we were talking about Chase Young earlier. When is he on the field? You know what I mean? I don't even think Chase Young had 5 tackles last season, and he's
No.
gonna ask for a ton of money.
Yeah.
It's just not worth it. It's
And
not
there's
worth
going
it.
to be a
Like,
team
you couldn't have
stupid
locked
enough
him up.
to pay Chase Young. You know that, bro. There's a team out there that's just
Yeah, he's gonna get paid for sure.
Yeah.
And it's going to be like the same scenario how we're talking about Jamal. It's going to be you're going to lock this. You're going to be so excited about bringing this dude in, and he's going to be hurt all the time. You're going to end up locking him down, and he's just going to be hurt all the time. It sucks to say, but
with Chase Young, where he would fit, and just because we do this, but I wouldn't want him, is he would fit in Philly.
I don't think they would ever pick him up though. Now with Nolan Smith, Josh Sweat.
But he would fit in Philly, and why I say that is because dude, he literally is now. You need him as a rotational DN. Like, don't have him on the field every snap. Keep him to where he's there playing rotationally.
Yeah. But then is it worth paying a dude that much money if he's going to be a rotational?
No, that's what I mean. Though he would be good in Philly on cheap, but that's definitely not going to happen. Like guys like what I was surprised to see. I mean, not surprised, but It kind of did surprise me, dude, because I think this guy might retire in the next 2 years if he gets another concussion. Is Tua getting
Dude,
his
I
pick
wanted to
up?
bring him up. I'm glad you brought him up because when we were go ahead. Go ahead.
I didn't know what to expect. I mean, I'm not that high on Tua, dude. I'm not like I like him, don't get me wrong, but dude, he has the weapons to where, dude, Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, they can make anyone look good, dude. You know what I mean? And I forget who they picked up in free agency, but they brought another receiver in too. I'm just not so high on him to where like I said, dude, he's when he don't know how to brace his falls, number one. And I mean, dude, he's gonna be a guy that again, when they go and extend him, I think they only picked up his player option because it's like, all right, he knows the system, he could lead us to the playoffs. This division that we have now with Burrow or Allen, Rogers, um, Mac Jones, they need quarterbacks in that division. But I can see Tua retire, and he literally said he debated retiring, dude, during this season. So one more concussion, I think he's out.
Me too. I'm really glad that you brought him up because I was gonna bring him up. I'm so surprised. I mean, I'm not so surprised because it seems like they really do have faith in Tua.
Mm.
But like you said, man, it's just head injuries. You picked up a fifth-year option on a guy that was going to contemplate retirement last year. Like you said, I don't understand why. You need to try to just make a move on one of these quarterbacks that aren't going to ask for a ton of money, or maybe start looking into one of these quarterbacks that are going to come out next year, like Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got it. You have to, because Tua is not going to last much longer in the NFL, and I'm really high on Tua when he's on the field. I think he plays really good. I think he has great vision. I think he has a really good arm talent. I think he's very accurate, but he's just his head. You know what I mean? We brought up Luke Kuechly earlier. He's one that retired because of head injuries.
Same with Andrew Luck, dude.
Yeah, it's going to be the same thing for Tua, man, and it's sad to say because he really is talented. He really is. They took him over Jalen Hurts at Alabama. You know what I mean? They benched Hurts and took him. But am I saying that that was smart? No. But it's just sad to see a kid with that much talent start to go downhill because of head injuries. And like you said, they have weapons everywhere, so he really can be great. And look at all the talent that they've brought in this offseason, all around. Like even talking defense, Jalen Ramsey and Xavier Howard they have in the backfield. That's going to be the best CB duo in the game, I think, for sure.
Yeah, they got Bradley Chubb.
If Tua can, I mean, didn't they redesign the helmets or something like that this year?
I guess they're doing something like that. I was reading something about that, how they're trying to make it more safe. But dude, there's no really making it more safe. You know what I mean? They're doing like the penalties, how you see them whipping like the quarterbacks down, these stupid penalties. It's just to protect their head and stuff like that. But I mean, don't get me wrong, like how you said you're high on Tua. In the first half of the season last year, he was an
MVP candidate.
Yeah, he was top 5 MVP candidate, dude. And I mean,
some people had him above Jalen.
Yeah. Yeah, midseason, and Tyreek Hill was about to go for 2,000 yards. If Tua did not get hurt, Tyreek Hill was going to have a 2,000-yard campaign season.
And remember in the early fantasy season, too, how good Jalen Waddle was doing? They were having 200-yard games together, Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, and Tua was throwing them balls, dude. He's throwing 400 yards a game to 2 receivers. Yeah. That's insane. It's almost unheard of, to be honest with you. And
two of the fastest receivers in the league on the field at the same time.
That's what I mean. Like there's so much potential for that team, man. They could go so far. They could honestly win a Super Bowl, Miami. Yeah. They could, man. If Tua can get his, I don't want to say get his head under control because I don't want to go into that. But if he can just get his injuries together, then that he'll pan out, and that team will pan out and end up winning a championship within the next 5 years.
And dude, that division is going to be so interesting to watch this season. Dude, like I said, you have Rodgers now in there, and you have the Bills, who are a phenomenal team. They just, dude, towards the end of the year, they start choking. You know what I mean? Their team moral is is shit right now because how Stephon Diggs, all these rumors, he don't want to play there. Dude, you were kissing Josh Allen's ass. You were his best friend, and then, dude, he has one bad game, and it's like, oh, I don't want to play with him anymore.
Yeah.
Dude, you got locked down that game, and it was a snow game too in Cincy.
He did the same thing in Minnesota, crying, man.
Yeah.
Diggs.
Yeah, like, dude, what more do you want? Yeah, Josh Allen's a top 5 quarterback in the league,
for
you
sure,
know? And
without question.
that's a guy, dude, if you're a receiver, you want a quarterback, man. I know you want Super Bowls, but dude, you left Minnesota where Kirk Cousins was giving you over 1,000 yards, and then they brought in Jefferson, and look, it was good that they got rid of you. You know what I mean? Like Jefferson wouldn't have panned out if Stephon Diggs. They wouldn't even have picked Jefferson up
And
if
now they
Diggs
have
was
that
still
Jordan
there.
Addison.
Yeah, like I mean, dude, that's going to
Jefferson's
be a
another
team.
one that's fifth-year option got picked up.
Who?
Justin
Jefferson.
Jefferson. And that's a no-brainer, honestly,
Yeah,
because, I mean, the records speak for themselves. I mean, he's the best receiver in the league as well. You go from, in your first season, 1,600 to,
mm,
1,400 to 1,600 to 1,800. You're taking
yeah,
200-yard leaps every single season, bro. Like, that's
yeah.
insane. And he's
And
without
people
question.
put down Kirk all the time.
Yeah, like, how can you put down his – I mean, he is kind of a choke artist, Kirk Cousins.
Oh
He is.
yeah,
But
yeah.
he's also a smart quarterback, man. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? He can still be good. I don't.
Veteran QB.
Yeah, he's a veteran QB, exactly. But I do think he's one that, like how we were talking about people retiring earlier. I think he's one that ends up retiring in the next close coming years.
Yeah, yeah, probably. I don't see Kirk ever like really necessarily going back to being like a veteran backup. I see these guys to where you've been a starter the last 10 years of your career. I don't see guys like going and necessarily taking on the backup role. I think when his time comes to where it'll be all right, Kirk, you're going to go and mentor this guy. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Or for a season or two and then let it roll with that. Dude, I don't know if you read anything about this, but about how I was saying Arizona, how they're supposed to tank. They're supposed to tank for Caleb Williams.
Oh yeah, you were telling me that.
Mm,
Yeah, you
And
were telling me that.
and dude, it blows my mind because dude, you just paid Kyler Murray.
Hmm.
So dude, you're gonna screw yourself out if you go and pick Caleb Williams up and then you trade Murray. You're going down into dead cap by doing this. I mean, Caleb Williams I'm very high on him after seeing his highlights and reading about him at USC. This guy's another generational talent he will go number one next season, no matter what. Like, no matter what team's there.
Yeah, I think
I mean,
it's inevitable, and I don't think I think that's why he didn't declare this year is because he wouldn't
mhm.
have won number one.
Yeah, no.
He
And
wants to go number one overall.
I read too, dude, about I was looking at early mock drafts. Remember last episode how I was like, Houston might regret doing this trade if they end up having the first overall or second overall. So people are predicting that Arizona is going to be the first overall, and their pick is going to be the second. Like they're going to be the second worst team, and Arizona might have the first and second pick next year.
That would be crazy. And
Yeah,
then Houston having 2 and 3 this year.
yeah, it's
That'd be
insane,
nice.
dude.
What
Um,
what did you think about Brandon Ayuk's 5th-year option getting picked up? He
I
had his
like
first
that.
1,000-yard
I know you
season.
said you were surprised about that. I'm not really surprised. I know that they're really high on Ayuk, and to pick it up for another so you'll have him this season, and then you'll have him next season, and he'll become a free agent. Ayuk could go and be like a number one on teams, but he is, in my eyes, I would say besides like Smith, T. Higgins, and stuff, I would say he's a top like 3 to 5 number two receiver in the league right now. But before these rookies come and play their number two
Yeah,
role,
yeah.
because I think that the guy that the Chargers picked up and that with Johnston and Minnesota with Addison, I think that these guys are going to be really good number twos in the league with having help. Like Johnston's going to take over soon in Los Angeles because dude, they were trying to get rid of Keenan Allen anyways, and
Yeah.
Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, both of them can't stay healthy. So this guy's going to be a number one, very good pick. Wasn't surprised with Ayuk, just because I know that they want him. They had a choice with him or Javon Kinlaw to pick up, and Kinlaw, um, dude, he played. What do I have here? He played like.
He's only played 24 games in his career. Javon Kinlaw.
Yeah,
I
he
was
played
gonna bring
10
him up
games in the
too.
last 2 seasons.
Yeah, he only played 6 games last season. He's only played 24 in his career. So I think
Yeah,
if you're going to pick up a 5th-year option, also they just brought in Javon Hargrave.
yeah. Well, that's
So
what I mean. That
yeah,
it was a no brainer to
if you're gonna
not pick
pick a
him
fifth year
up.
option up and it comes down to Javon Kinlaw and Brandon Ayuk, you're gonna pick up Brandon Ayuk.
Mhm.
So actually, now that I am thinking about that, I'm not really surprised
Yeah,
as I
and
was.
I think Ayuk had a
I think
thousand
Ayuk's
yards last
good.
season too.
Remember when he was a rookie, man, and he jumped over that one Eagles player, and it was
Yeah,
like a big thing.
yeah. I think it was. I don't know if it was. I think it was Epps, dude, or something.
Well, I was gonna say I think it might have been Rodney McLeod.
Yeah.
I'm
I
not
do
100%
remember that.
sure. He
Mhm.
just got picked up by the Browns, I think. Rodney McLeod.
Yeah, very good. That's a very good veteran pickup right there. I mean, if he, like I said, I think he'll play 40 to 60% of the snaps if he's not named the starter. But definitely a good veteran to have there. I like Rodney McLeod. He helped us win a championship when we traded for him from the Rams. Definitely a huge pickup. I was kind of surprised on the receiver. My surprise was Jerry Judy getting picked up because I mean all these trade rumors, but I mean he's only going to make 12, like a little under 13 mil. So you have him this year, then next year, and then he becomes a free agent. I think there's a lot of upside with Judy, and I mean just the rumors though, dude, about these trades with him. They picked up a receiver in the second round, I believe, second or third round, and all the teams were. Denver got a lot of calls asking is Judy or Sutton available because you are picking up this guy, and I mean, dude, they've been trying to trade Judy. It was big talks all this time, and I guess now they're high on him. And Russ was probably like, keep this guy. He's a great route runner,
One of the best,
very
I think.
very fast guy. He needs to be on the field a little more, and he just needs to be utilized as an actual number one. And I think Russell Wilson could win comeback or most improved if they don't even have a most improved. But I think Russell Wilson has a lot to show. You're making, dude, all this money too, and you shit the bed last season. So I wasn't surprised I was surprised, but wasn't at the same time with Jerry Judy with only being 13 mil.
I honestly wasn't surprised though, because Denver's been saying for the past couple of years that Jerry Judy is their guys. Like people have been making calls about Jerry Judy for the past like 2 years, and Denver just hasn't been trading them. So like all the rumors that go around about Jerry Judy being traded, I just don't buy them because I always read about how Denver says that that's their guy. You know what I mean? They don't want to get rid of Jerry Judy. But
Yeah.
one receiver that I do think is going to get traded from Denver now that they brought in that rookie is KJ Hamler.
Yeah.
I think he's one that's going to get traded soon. I think he's a very underrated receiver. He can go to a team and be a number 2 and tear it up easily.
Mhm.
Um,
Don't they still have Tim Patrick, right?
I don't know actually.
I think they still do. I'm not 100% sure if they do, but
I
I
don't
know he
know.
was hurt.
Actually. I mean,
He
it's a
was
good
hurt all
question.
last season.
Yeah,
So I mean,
but
if they have him, that's another trade option, or Sutton too.
yeah, even
You're not going
Sutton.
to want to pay these guys when you're
Hmm.
paying Russ and you're bringing in linemen for us, and you got deep defenders, bro. Like I don't see them, and they re-signed Justin Simmons. He's a top safety in the league.
Hmm.
They have pretty good corners. Dude. They have a
That's
lockdown corner.
Sertan.
Their lockdown corner, dude.
Patrick Sertan.
Yeah, he's a beast, dude.
Yeah.
Arguably a top 5 corner in the league.
This might be pushing it, but I sometimes I think like watching him play, I think he might be the best corner in the
Yeah,
league.
yeah, and he's
Dead
due
serious when I
to get
say
paid
that.
too.
Yeah,
He's still
yeah,
on his
honest to
rookie
God.
contract. So I mean, and then we seen, I guess there was a lot of basically all the left tackles besides like Mekhi Becton from the Jets. They all got picked up. I mean, that's no brainers, but Mekhi Becton, he slimmed down 40 pounds, and now you're playing with Aaron
Really?
Rodgers. Yeah. Yeah, he slimmed
Oh
down 40
shit!
pounds to be more agile. So, and I mean, he's playing with
Wow,
Rodgers. Yeah. Yeah.
damn.
Yeah. And one guy I wasn't surprised with their contract, not or their option was Jalen Rager, dude. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
he's
F
done,
him,
dude.
dude.
Yeah, he'll
Yeah.
be playing in the XFL, dude. If not,
Yeah.
he'll be playing with Pindell in the X League soon. Honestly,
I don't see I don't see Rager, bro, panning out anywhere. I mean, they're saying too is the only reason they didn't pick him up is because he has to get paid the same year Jefferson does. Because Philly took him over Jefferson, one pick over, idiots with that. But I mean, we missed. Hey, all I can say to Howie is you missed out on DK with who was
Got
the
on
guy that
Jefferson.
who was the guy that we picked up? He had two last names, dude. JJ Arcega-Whiteside.
Oh yeah,
He's out of the
big
league.
blocker,
Yeah, he's out of the league. We
big
messed
boy
up on
Kyle
that,
from
dude.
Nelk.
They were calling for Howie's name. They were calling for Howie's job 2 years,
I know.
and now he went and he's like, you know what,
And
dude?
now he's one of the best GMs in the league, if not
He,
the best GM.
he owes Philly. He owed
Yeah.
Philly for missing out on DK and Jefferson,
Mhm.
and he's like, you know, I'll bring in AJ Brown.
Yeah, I
I'll
was gonna
bring in
say,
these
even though
guys.
they did miss out on DK, you brought in AJ, and AJ is
And
obviously better.
yeah, AJ, dude, getting him paid was the happiest thing, bro. Because now we have him. He'll be there for till he's 30. You know what I mean?
I love that, dude. I almost cried when I see that. You guys
Yeah.
know I've loved him since college, dude. When I saw him getting traded to the Eagles, I almost cried.
Yeah. So I mean, dude, that's
Seriously,
a
that
huge
was so
pickup.
big for me.
It's gonna be what's gonna be hard is, dude, seeing Smith walk away because I mean he had a great rookie season, had a great last 2 seasons. You know, it is hard to see him if he does end up not getting paid, but I know Philly will end up doing something in the draft or they'll.
He's with his boys, though, man. Honestly, Smith is one that might take a team friendly. He
And,
loves
and,
Jalen Hurts and he loves AJ Brown. But
and
AJ's
you
like a
know
mentor.
Howie, dude, he can go and work these contracts
Yeah.
to where it's flexible. And don't be surprised if when we pick up his 5th-year option is then when that 5th-year option comes to an end and they're like, all right, we don't know how to extend you yet. Franchise tag.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I could see Smith
I hope.
around for the next couple of years, and if not, and if we do end up trading him, we're gonna get a lot for him anyways.
Yeah.
You know?
But I just like him a lot, man, honestly.
One guy I wasn't surprised with the pickup was CD Lamb. CD Lamb showed improvement. Very, very high on him now. I mean, it sucks that we have to play him, but I mean, he's had 1,000 yards. He had 107 receptions, 1,300 yards last season, and 9 tutties. The only year he didn't have 1,000 yards, he came 65 yards shy of it, was his rookie year. But I mean, he's a problem. He's arguably now he proved he's a number one, but I don't know if you've seen it today. AJ Brown throwing some shade over at CD. He's like,
stop comparing him.
Yeah, he's
It's
like he
true,
played.
though, man. He's a big AJ's a big outside receiver, and CD mainly plays the slot now.
Yeah,
so
he goes, don't compare me to him. He plays in the slot. I play slot and I play outside.
Like, honestly, don't. And now that they have, who did they get? Brandon Cooks?
Yeah.
Now CD's going to primarily play the slot pretty much every game.
Mm-hmm.
Now that they have him. So
and they have Gallup still, too.
Yeah, they still have Michael Gallup. They signed him to a pretty big contract a couple years back.
Which is stupid, dude.
He's one of the most injury-prone wide receivers in the league.
After he got hurt, dude, and he was still in his injury, and they're like, all right, well, we need to re-sign him. Like, why re-sign him, dude? Like, he broke his leg, you know?
Yeah. You drafted CD Lamb.
Yeah.
Didn't they re-sign him the same year they drafted CD?
No, a year after.
It was a year after. I knew it was around the same time. And that was CD's breakout year, was the year after that he got drafted. So why?
Yeah. I mean, I think they were high on Gallup and weren't. I mean, a big-bodied, good number 2 receiver. They got rid of. I mean, dude, I would have kept Amari over Michael Gallup. I mean, in all honesty,
I just think Amari was a money issue, though.
Yeah, no, definitely was. But I mean, dude, you paid Gallup like 14, 15 mil a year.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, Amari wouldn't have been too much higher, maybe 18, 17, and 19.
And Amari did big things for Dallas too, man. The entire team played for them. He was always good.
Yeah, he was a Pro Bowler, dude.
He was honestly, you could say that he was better than Terry McLaurin and was the best receiver in the NFC East for a couple years.
Mm-hmm. Now that we hit, the 50-minute mark, I want to ask you about this. What's your take on the Jordan Love extension with Green Bay? Because he was supposed to get a player option this year. Like he was one of these guys who were a player option, but they did just a 1-year contract extension instead. So what's your thought on the Jordan Love extension?
I mean, how many games has he played in the league? How many games has he played? One?
One or two. He
Honestly,
played.
I think he's only played one game. I swear to God.
Yeah, he came in
Um,
last season against Philly for
yeah.
the fourth quarter when we were blowing them out.
So I mean I don't I think what what are they paying him 22 mil?
Yeah, 22. Yeah.
Um, I think that's a lot for sure for a guy that's only played half an NFL game. I mean, he might have played more, but I'm pretty sure it's
No,
only been
he
one
played. He
game.
started one game against the Chiefs and he shit the bed,
And then he has when he came in for Philly.
and that was one quarter.
All right, so he has one game in one quarter, and you're paying him 22 million for 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that number's pretty high, but he must be doing something in practice where they're like, "This is our guy." You know what I mean? So he must be
And
talking all.
obviously to go and move on from Rodgers for this
Yeah,
team.
I mean, he must be turning it up in practice. You know what I mean? So I think he might end up panning out. Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, I liked him in college, Jordan Love. I mean, once I was really surprised that Green Bay drafted him, but I mean, I guess this was their plan all along. Yeah, it's just like with Aaron Rodgers when they had Favre.
Yeah.
So I mean, Jordan Love. I mean, if it goes to the same thing as that, I mean, Brett Favre was also traded to the Jets. Aaron Rodgers was just traded to the Jets. So I mean, if this literally pans out to be their third quarterback that plays phenomenal, and then ends up getting traded to the Jets, I'm done watching football.
I'm iffy about the contract extension, but also knowing the QB market and you know how high they're getting paid and stuff like that. I would say this is a good thing. You know, you have him to where it's not just this season and he's done. You have him to the next, I think, 2 or 3 years now.
I think it's 2, yeah.
Yeah, so you have him locked up. You have him 1 year now he can develop, and then you have him for a next year prove it deal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not the worst thing, but again, like you said, dude, he only has played one game. I mean, Rodgers did though. He talked very highly about Jordan Love.
That's what I mean. Yeah, he must be showing signs in practice for sure.
Yeah, and he said that he took a huge leap from his rookie year with learning to the next year. I would have. I mean, you drafted him in the first round for a reason. So if you would have lost him after whatever, it would have looked like, damn, that pick in the first round was for nothing. So let's give him 2 years, see what he can do, and then move on from him. I think they need to bring in more help. But I mean, Rodgers was high on Romeo Dobbs last season. You lost Lazard to the Jets. You lost Cobb now to the Jets. Everyone from Green Bay's going, but I'm very high on Christian Watson. I do like Christian Watson. He's fast
I like Christian Watson too.
Yeah, he's fast as shit, dude. I mean, he had what? He had 4 tutties in a game last season. You know, This guy is he's a good player.
He's a rookie.
Yeah. So, and I mean, Rodgers is saying Romeo Dobbs looks like runs routes like Devontae Adams. So there's a lot there with them. This could be a win-win for them. You know, you're not paying Rodgers. Rodgers is making, bro, like, dude, I think they said 60 mil.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I think he's making like 60 mil with New York. I know it's definitely over 50, but I know he's the highest paid. Yeah, I mean, how they say like Lamar's the highest paid, but Rodgers' contract really makes him the highest paid annually. Yeah. And I mean, dude,
they just brought in Randall Cobb too, the Jets.
Yeah, I mean, they're bringing everyone over. What's Randall Cobb gonna really do though?
Nothing.
I mean, you have
not with that wide receiver room.
No, you have Lazard, you have McCole Hardman, you have Corey Davis, you know, you have Lazard, you have all these guys, dude. And now you have Cobb. What really is Cobb gonna do?
And I think he's like 34. He might be like 33 or 32, but I'm pretty sure he's like 34.
32. I think he's 32 or 33. This pick with Rodgers, this was a Rodgers, bring in a Rodgers guy. You know what I mean? Have Rodgers comfortable.
They brought in Lazard though, so why?
Well, Lazard went there before any speculation with Rodgers. He was signed the first or second day of free agency, but I mean there
was all those talks of Rodgers coming to the Jets when they brought in Lazard. So they were. I think a lot of people knew that the trade with the Jets was going to happen a long time before it happened.
Mm-hmm.
If you go back, man, a couple episodes, we were talking about that Rodgers trade 2 months ago, and it just happened.
Yeah, I definitely. I mean, I like this pick. they did ask him on the thing there at his press conference. They're like, well, what is it? And he's like, listen, I told Green Bay I'm either trade me to the Jets or I'm just gonna retire. And then the Jets had a talk with him, and they're like, well, how many seasons are you definitely gonna give us? And he's like, I'll give you at minimum 2 seasons. So he did, because the Jets asked him, listen, you're not gonna come after this season and going into a retreat and think you're going to retire. And he told him, no, it's not like that. I'm here to play for you, and that's that.
Good.
These effing trucks outside, dude.
I know.
You
Same
know?
thing with me, dude. Dogs barking all day,
Yeah,
man.
I live on a highway here at the Williamsport. But going off of that, I have then the Ravens signing Rock Ya-Sin. I like that with Marcus Peters getting up there in age. Or no, Marcus Peters is still a free agent, so this is a good pickup. Getting a younger guy, he's only 26, with Marlon Humphrey, and he was by far the Raiders' #1 corner last year. So I like this pickup with the Ravens.
You talking about Rock Ya-Sin?
Yeah. And then I have the Chiefs. The Chiefs signed, because you know how they lost Orlando Brown to he fumbled the bag, man. He lost like $25 million by not re-signing with the Chiefs. But they signed Donovan Smith to a 1-year, $9 million deal. Dude, the guy led the league in holding last year with the Bucs. Tom Brady hated the guy. And now look at him. I mean, dude, he's literally gonna hold the Chiefs back. But ending on this note, Ruggs pled guilty. People are saying, if he gets out in 3 years, he could make a comeback to the NFL. I could see it, but you're not necessarily, dude, working out all the time in prison.
I wonder what he's looking like nowadays, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's going to serve 3 to 10 years.
I mean, it's not a shame. He deserves it, dude. He killed somebody.
Yeah,
but it's just crazy to think, man. I was pretty high on Ruggs when he was coming out of Alabama, for sure. I thought he was going to be a little bit better than he was in the league, but he was always that speedy guy that could get down the field very quick. You know what I mean? He was just always that target that if it was reliable down the field. If Derek Carr needed him to be open downfield, he was that guy that had the speed on that team to get open downfield.
Yeah.
But it's a shame to see NFL players pan out like that when they're young. Man, this kid's going to do 3 to 10. Like you said, if he gets out in 3 years, maybe we'll see him make a comeback.
Yeah.
But
and Saban, dude, he had a long talk, and he was like to his players, he's like, there was a guy who never had no problems here in Alabama, in our organization, and he's like, all it took was him and his buddies drinking, and would he have been mad if someone took his keys? He's like, probably. He's like, but would he have been better off where he is now or there? And he's like, so he regrets every day that he done that. And he really cost himself a lot of money in the league, and he ultimately cost himself a career.
100%.
Like he'll never even be able to get a regular job because of the felonies and stuff.
Yeah, never.
And then we got Jackson Mahomes doing all this stuff. Kansas City, Brett Veach, you better tell him to stay away.
Yeah. Honestly, dude, you better stop having him making them TikToks on the sidelines, man, because this kid's no good, dude. I mean,
I really hope he goes and does jail time, dude, because who he is,
too.
He really thinks, bro, because he's Pat Mahomes' brother, dude. Like
he's literally the shit. That he's like untouchable. It blows my mind.
Yeah, and I mean, dude, he's a piece of. He had all these like, whatever. Everyone's like, oh, he might be what so and so, and he had to go and prove it by going and grabbing a girl like that and making out with her, and then arguing with the owner and stuff.
And did you see what Mahomes' wife was saying? Like telling people to lay off him, that he's just trying to live his life. How is that just trying to live your life, man?
Yeah, that girl didn't ask you to kiss her, dude.
Yeah, and his brother, man, Pat is probably so embarrassed right now. Honestly.
Yeah.
This is the face of the NFL we're talking about, right? Patrick Mahomes. His brother's acting like this, man.
Yeah, and that's just a distraction. And it's like, dude, they told that before we wrap up, the Kansas City Chiefs told them, they're like, yo, that's why no one's seen Jackson Mahomes on TikTok last season until the playoffs. Is they're like, dude, you got to keep him away, and they did, But we'll wrap it up with that. Thank you for tuning in to episode 18 or 20. Of the Fade, and we'll hope to see you soon.